Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Stork. I'm the Senior Solutions Engineering Manager at PNP Optica. Everyone can hear me okay? Perfect. Today I'm here to talk about how AI, that's artificial intelligence. I know there are a couple other acronyms with AI in them, but that sort of AI and machine learning and how they can really help to improve food safety. PNP Optica does use AI and machine learning to detect foreign materials. That's what gives us this expertise. So if you need any help with that, come over to our booth. What I'm going to cover today, so a little bit of background about AI and machine learning, how are they being used in other industries, but more specifically, there are a lot of applications in the food industry where AI and machine learning are already being used. Talk a little bit about the risks. Of course, there's also a lot of value to using these tools. And how you can make a business case, which I'll go into more depth tomorrow at 2 p.m. as well. So if you enjoy this talk, come back at 2 p.m. tomorrow. What is AI? So we're at a food conference here, so I'm going to use a bit of an analogy here to link AI to food. I'm going to use terms like artificial intelligence and machine learning and data and algorithms. But in this analogy, the kitchen is, you can use the kitchen for a whole lot of things, and that's AI. It's broad, a number of many different things you can do in there. Machine learning is one technique that you can use in the kitchen, like baking or fermenting or many other things, right? So it's a technique you use to achieve specific goals. And then the data is like the ingredients. Better ingredients, the better product you have. The models, I'll use the words models and algorithms interchangeably. Those are like the step-by-step instructions within your program or your process. So artificial intelligence, it's an entire field of computer science. It does a lot of things. We hear about it in the news with ChatGPT and Netflix showing you which things that I think you'd like. But in the end, we're trying to replicate things that humans historically do well. So we're making decisions, we're understanding data, and we're taking action on those things. And that's been a stretch. That's not what machines are historically good at. They're good at following instructions. Machine learning specifically is about providing AI with some inputs, that's data, and the desired objectives and outputs, and having machine learning figure out the steps in between so that you may be able to find trends or end up with a goal that humans just aren't capable of achieving because of the complexity of the application. So it is a little bit of a black box, but you're controlling the data that goes in and you're telling it what you'd like it to do. Then you've got your ingredients, that's your data. Garbage in, garbage out. That's a very common AI machine learning phrase. So just like with your meal, the better ingredients you put in, the better your outcome's going to be. And you've got your algorithms or your models. So PPO uses machine learning. We need to train our systems what good product is and what the defects look like. And then the models themselves figure out how to differentiate new images so that when we're scanning product in line, we can find those foreign materials and get them out efficiently. Other industries. So AI's been around for a while. It's not this completely cutting edge thing, although it's been invading our personal lives more in the last 5 years. In manufacturing, being used to detect defects, anything that's not the product you want, right? Are your parts going to be, are your ball bearings around, that kind of thing. And that's what PPO is doing with food. Is there anything there that's not supposed to be there? Predictive maintenance, big, complicated data sets. Anytime you've got something that's got many, many variables, machine learning is going to be able to identify those patterns and trends in ways that humans just can't look through thousands and thousands of numbers and identify those trends. So that's a strength of machine learning and AI. and looking through maintenance information and saying, well, this stuff broke down and this is how often I'm serving stuff. That's a pretty complicated data set that AI can look and find insights in and make recommendations to add value. And then process optimization. Most plants these days are pretty smart. You've got sensors all over the place. You've got robotics and all the rest. And obviously, you want to improve your yield. You want to reduce downtime. And taking all those metrics and finding some, maybe not obvious things, but AI can find those trends and then help you with those metrics you're trying to optimize and improve. Pharmaceuticals, there's some cool examples. Drug discovery, being able to make recommendations on which drugs are worth pursuing. How do you optimize and make your clinical trials more efficient? And even taking your personal medical history and your physiology and recommending a treatment plan. So some of these are pretty impactful, potentially, to our everyday lives and our health. And then construction as another example, sort of like manufacturing. We're trying to make things safer, make our buildings, we especially want to be safer. Monitoring those buildings, identify maybe when there's an issue or you need to do some maintenance, and automating some quality control so you can make the process more efficient and more repeatable. So jumping into more specifically on the food industry here, what we're really here to talk about, some more examples. Robots, they're in, I'd say, every plant these days. You've got automation in packaging, that was one of the early adopters. You've got autonomous forklifts. You've got a lot of imaging applications, right? So we have cameras that can act as the eyes. You've got artificial intelligence that can act as the brains, and you've got robotics that can act as the action. And that's able to automate quite a lot that was historically human jobs and do it more repeatably, and eliminating those dull, dirty, dangerous jobs, freeing up those people to do higher value things. Supply chain management, this is a very software-driven one. You have these data sets from supply chain and many variables, all your inputs and your outputs and your costs and your lead times. And being able to manage that with an AI solution can really simplify things. You're still going to have your supply chain experts, but they're going to have a lot more tools at their fingertips. This is a PPO example. So we're working with a university and a cattle abattoir in Australia where we're doing disease detection by scanning cattle offal. So it's really cool. Using these machine learning models, we're able to identify cysts and abscesses and other conditions in livers and kidneys and lungs, and use that to create a more objective grading process. So again, that's all a machine learning model using PPO's hyperspectral imaging. Precision farming and general smart agriculture is huge when it comes to monitoring crops, being able to decide how much fertilizer or pesticide that you need to put on them, let alone something like greenhouse control, where you have a lot of sensors in greenhouses these days to finally control. You've got so many variables that you pretty much need some automation to be able to know how to take all that data and do something useful with it. Got to talk about PPO a little bit more. We find foreign materials. The reason we need to use AI and machine learning, we use a unique camera system. We use hyperspectral imaging, and the size of those images, we generate something like 20 terabytes of data per 8-hour shift. So we're not saving that information. There's no humans doing anything with that information. We need the machine learning models to be able to look at that incoming data all day, every day on the line, make decisions about there being a rejection, and within a fraction of a second between scanning the product and hitting our reject mechanism, we need to make a decision. And machine learning is really the only way to make that happen. General analytics and reporting, this kind of goes around running and making your plant more efficient. So again, PPO takes all of their findings and everything and uses AI to look for trends, sends alerts, that kind of thing. But this can be used across any number of pieces of equipment, right? Every piece of equipment that's got any brains is generating this information. And it's a lot of information for people to try to make sense of. We had an example of a customer, they're inspecting raw chicken breasts. All of a sudden one day, they saw their bone detections go way up. They look in their rejection bin, lots of bone there. They were able to link that back to their preventative maintenance of their auto deboners. One had gone out of alignment. They had recently changed their schedule of their preventative maintenance, so they readjusted that to reduce the risk and ultimately not be sending that bone to their customers and getting complaints. Talking about the risks a little bit. So there are risks with any new technology. Planning for those risks is really important. AI can be a black box, so you want to make sure you're giving it the right data that's representative of the real world, data that doesn't have bias in it. And don't just build something and implement it. If it's a high risk, high impact application, test it for a little while. Watch it, see what kind of decisions it's making and think about what the impact's going to be. Anytime you're talking about data, you want to think carefully about data privacy, especially if there's any human information in there. I mentioned data bias. One example here, so data bias is when you train the system, maybe not for the entirety of the real world conditions. A cool example from PPO again, in a chicken breast scanning application. One morning we get another call from the customer saying, hey, we're really over rejecting today. We don't know why. Check it out for us. So we asked them, has anything changed here? First they denied it, and then they said, well, actually, we are running some rooster breasts today, and that's very rare. And we said, oh, that is a change from your normal product. And it was not captured in the training data. So you're training machine learning, you need to make sure you're capturing the real world conditions. So we were able to adjust that because they would see that product again, adjust the machine learning models with new training data, and fix that problem. And of course, data quality. Data doesn't have to be clean and labeled, but especially if you're trying to do a project yourself around AI and machine learning, you're building that data set, make sure there aren't mistakes in it. For every one mistake, you're going to need many times more data to unlearn that mistake in the data set. Quality control, again, test it. Collect new testing data every 6 months if you need to make sure that those models are staying calibrated and doing what you want the system to do. And then sometimes people forget with these technical solutions, the people side of it, but the culture in the plant and having the right stakeholders and making sure that everybody's engaged makes a really big difference. And a lot of those people become more engaged in their jobs when they get to use new technology and can see career advancement, right, from getting involved with that. So talking a little bit about the business case now. Again, my talk tomorrow is about actually implementing and making a business case and a plan for introducing a new AI or machine learning solution into your factory. But just touching on that today, really, if you're going to go to the effort of putting in something new and making a plan and identifying the risks, you have to find that area where it's really worthwhile and it's going to deliver the payback and the ROI. We work with our customers all the time to make sure, hey, you say this is your goal. When you achieve that, is everyone going to be happy with that result? Is that delivering the value that you need it to? And these projects often have a lot of stakeholders. So maybe engineering is executing the project, but there's levels of corporate and the executive team who need to sign off. Well, they may have different priorities than the people who are doing the project. And on the flip side, you've got the people working on the line. Well, if they feel like making your job difficult, they can, right? So getting them to understand, why is this project important? How is it helping me? How is it helping the company? That goes for maintenance and sanitation and all the other roles in the plants. Some of our customers around foreign material, they see their benefit and their payback by reducing the amount of product they're throwing away, getting that foreign material out early in the process. Sometimes it's automating human inspection, which human inspection isn't the greatest to begin with, so you get better quality product and you free up those people to do other jobs. And then reduction of complaints. So when we're doing an ROI for a customer, often it can be a combination of all those things put together that give you your payback of 6 months or 9 months or something like that. So having everyone agree on that goal, set the expectations, communicate to the stakeholders so that when you are in the middle of the project or at the end of the project, everyone can say, yeah, we met those goals. This was a successful project and a successful implementation. This is a good turnout, so thanks everybody for making the time at the end of the presentation day today. And I'm hoping to see some of you guys at our booth over the next afternoon and maybe tomorrow.